And line up for this 8-lap affair with the top 5 moving on. Set to roll to the green like this. Driver of the poles out of Bedford, Indiana. Driver of the Auto Credit Airmaster Heating and AC. Tommy D's Windows, Doors, and more. Number 24 him. It's going to be Hunter Maddox. Lining up next to him, you'll find Max Adams out of Loomis, California. Driver of the Z-Max, F Racing, FK Indy. Frankie Guarini owned at number 63. Third starting spot, that'll belong to Shane Cottle out of Kansas, Illinois. The Epperson Painting Incorporated, Speedway Power, DRC Chassis, Earls, M2 Bearings, number 2E. And outside of him, it's the Madman, Robert Ballou at Rockland, California, the Suburban Subaru, Deaton's Waterfront Services, Donut DRC Chassis, Factory Kane, number 12. Chase Stockin in 5. He's out of Fort Branch, Indiana, the Bandag LLC, Davis Brothers, number 5S. He'll roll from the 5th starting spot and from 6 tonight's Honest Abe Roofing Quick Qualifier. Out of Raisin City, California, the AME Electrical, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Walker Filtration, number 19 AZ, that is Mitchell Moles. Anton Hernandez out of Arlington, Texas, the Baldwin Fox Racing, Velocity USA, Fox Paving, Brewer Farms, number 5. He'll go for the inside of runner number 4, and next to him is going to be Rylan Gray. Gray coming to us out of Greenfield, Indiana, driving the Speedtown Comfort, Finish Line Mowing, Car Bright, Gray Auto 06. Final row from the inside, you're going to find Kayla Rell at Dillsboro, Indiana, driving the Pool General Contractor, Stanton Ripper Chassis, Heavy-Duty Truck and Transmission, number 5K, and your final starter is set to be the 19, Dan Clodfelter. He's at Rockville, Indiana, driving the Ram-powered Ripper Chassis, the old Dan's Wallet. Number 19, set to round out your lineup here in Simpson Race Products Heat Race number 1. Christy Bettman's joining me here on the broadcast, and I talked earlier about just the amount of effort and work and gallons of diesel that has gone into getting this track in shape. And our producers down there just texted me. We have some images we can show you here on the broadcast, and we'll see if they can cue those up here, showing kind of the before and after. We posted a couple pictures out to our social media feeds, and here's one of the pictures here on the broadcast. You see where I was talking about that infield. In front of us was a lake, and, of course, that extending out onto the front straightway.
Yeah, so you can see it there right on the front stretch. And that is the racing surface on the right side of your screen. So really tremendous effort to get this race in tonight. And I mean, seriously, honestly, what more could you ask for, right?
I don't know if you could. I've been to over 170 racetracks across the country, and the amount of effort you saw put in today, you don't see a lot of times. And that's not a dig at any racetrack. That's not a dig at any promoters. The situation determines the outcome. In the situation they were in, they saw what was coming. The storm that was supposed to be here this afternoon, it broke up. We just caught a little bit of it. The evening cleared out, so they said, you know what, we've got a chance. Let's go for it.
And in this photo on your screen right now on FloRacing, you see kind of those marks that are going down the racetrack. Those are little rivulets that have formed due to the rainfall. So all of that being worked away. And then, of course, you see there in turns number 1 and 2, the standing water in the infield. No longer. And
that was right after they started tilling. So the very top of the racetrack, they were finally able to get a piece of equipment out there, get that Layla Rotera working. And again, just to look at where we were to where we are, I figured we were going to be back at the hotel.
I did as well. But once I made the drive over here after work, I was like, we better get this thing going because now I'm here.
I was going to say, you actually had to drive.
I did, yeah.
I did mine last night.
All right, Dave, Tom, wanted to go this time.
So Hunter Maddox, again on the pole this one.
All right,
Max Adams lining up next to him. As I believe Drake with an update.
Well, Brian, we know we like talking about innovation here on USAC on FloRacing. I want to talk about the driver on the outside of the front row, Max Adams. And I was over in his pit talking to his dad, Scott, earlier today, and I noticed they have a Zeus on wicker bill. And what I mean by that, the Zeus buttons, which is pretty similar to how they affix the body to the chassis of these race cars. Well, they have developed a wicker bill that can Zeus on as well, and that's going to be really handy tonight here at the Terre Action Track as you got a lot of air moving around this race car. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the handling of the 63 of Max Adams.
Indeed, he goes to the right of run number 1. Shane Cottle, Robert Ballou, run number 2. Chase Stockin, Mitchell Moles, run number 3. Anton Hernandez, Rylan Gray, run number 4. Kayla Rell. And Dan Clodfelter, his first start of any in a sprint week. Behind the wheel of the number 19. Set to round out your lineup. Toyota Racing Development Pace Truck down in the infield. The NOS Energy start can, the starting point for these drivers, side by side till they find that point. As they work off a turn number 4 to the green. Ooh, man, Maddox up across the racetrack. Cottle trying to look to his inside. Cowboy up, boys, as we work into turns 1 and 2.
Mitchell Moles and Robert Ballou eager to get that one going. Mitchell Moles has worked his way into 5th from 6th right now. Robert Ballou beginning to fall behind just a little bit, kind of broke up his momentum. Now he's searching for some more speed.
Boy, Moles on the pogo stick over there in turns 3 and 4. Gets her all kinds of sideways. Thought he was going to ramp into the back of the 24M there. Gathers the car back up. That allows the 5 of Anton Hernandez to make his way by. As up front, it will be Adams at 63 with the advantage.
Yeah, so for Mitchell Mole, that was a moment of all moments. Got that thing kind of biked up and settled back down, but it took him just a second to kind of recollect himself, and now he sits outside the transfer spot by 1 position.
She's got moisture. She's going to have character as the night goes on here. Adams leading. Cottle running in 2nd. Stocking currently running in 3rd. Maddox running in 4th. Anton Hernandez currently holds on to the final transfer spot into the feature event as the caution lights come on. The 19 coming to a rest on the back straightaway just shy of turn number 3, and that is Clodfelter. So it looks like the 19 going to go ahead and exit stage right here. He will begin making his way to the opening on the back straightaway. And Robert Ballou, on the start of that, he kind of fell back in a hurry. And wondering if maybe something going awry on that number 12. He continues to roll. We'll keep an eye on it here when we go back to green.
It might just be an optical illusion, and it's very possible that there's nothing wrong necessarily, but something on the left front just looks a little bit funny to me.
It's kind of like it's dipped down a little bit more than normal.
I'm glad you see it too.
Either that or we got some group thing going on up here. So Max Adams leads in 63 single file nose to tail past the NOS Energy start can. 2 laps in, 6 laps remaining here in Simpson Race Products Heat Race number 1. We're back to green.
Max Adams going to give her all she's got on that restart. Shane Cottle going to stay pretty close, but then he hits a bit of a rut there in turns number 1 and falls behind just a bit.
Boy, Mitchell Moles with a great move on the outside going to turns 1 and 2. He was able to duck by and pick up a spy here. Goes after the 5 of Anton Hernandez as they work through turns 3 and 4. As now Cottle looking for the race lead. Swung her wide to the exit of the 4th turn. Now going to dive it down to the inside over turns 1 and 2. Adams going to beat him to the punch, though, as they work into turns number 2 and onto the back straightaway. Cottle with a run onto the backstretch. Here comes the Epperson Penny number 2E. He's got the lead into 3. Can he hold on to it, though? Adams, maximum effort on the outside, and he's going to retake it.
Shane Cottle really trying to roll that bottom side of the racetrack. Difficult with the conditions the way they are. Just hard to keep that momentum and keep speed on the bottom when you have to pedal it so lightly.
Boy, they are still kind of dancing with danger on the bottom side of the speedway there through turns 1 and 2 as Cottle with another big run onto the back straightaway. Looks to the inside as you can see the steam billowing off of these tires. Heat, humidity, and cool dirt all combining. So the photographer's getting some cool shots here tonight as we have 3 laps remaining. It is Adams leading, Cottle running in 2nd, Moles, Stockin, Hernandez. Those are your 5 transferring drivers at the moment.
Transfer position might be up for grabs here in just a moment as Robert Ballou caught up to Anton Hernandez for just a moment. Didn't quite get a look at it, but another couple of laps and he might be able to.
Well, he's got to run to the front straightaway as he rolls her down to the bottom side of turns 1 and 2. There it is, the madman able to make the pass. Hernandez going to try to look back to his inside. They're going to switch lines onto the back straight with a 5 with the run, going to retake it. Robert Ballou still right there, though, into turns 3 and 4. Sets her down to the bottom side of the speedway. Hernandez going to swing wide. Robert Ballou around the bottom. They're side by side onto the front stretch. Battle for the lead, starting to pick up once again with 1 to go.
Anton Hernandez choosing not to protect on the bottom side of the racetrack there. Robert Ballou going to try to stick his nose in there. Not quite enough room. Hernandez gets another good run down the backstretch.
Shane Cottle with a run last time into turns 1 and 2 as they took the white. Coming off of turn number 4, checker flag going to fly in this one. Couldn't quite get the run this time. Max Adams going to pick up Simpson Race Products Heat Race number 1. Shane Cottle going to cross in 2nd. Mitchell Moles in 3rd. Chase Stockin in 4th. Anton Hernandez holds on for the 5th and final transfer spot into the feature event. Robert Ballou, Hunter Maddox, Kayla Rell, Rylan Gray, and Dan Clodfelter unofficially rounding out your field. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he comes to you all the way from Loomis, California. He pilots the Z-Max, Western Speed Racing, F&F Racing, Factory Kane, FG3 Power, DRC Chassis, Frankie Garino, number 63. Race fans, give him a hand, Max Adams. So Max Adams picking up his first heat race win of the season. Simpson Race Products heat race number 1. As Rada Supply heat race number 2 begins to make its way out to the speedway. Driver of the pole, this one's out of Pleasant Hill, Ohio. The Ray Marshall Motorsports, Buckeye Machine Fabricators, Gressman DRC, number 33M. It's going to be Matt Westfall lining up next to him. That is going to be Jack Hoyer. He's out of Frankfort, Indiana. Driver of the Intake Management Group, Claxton XXX Chassis, number 11X. Next row from the inside, that's going to be Dason Pursley at Locust Grove, Oklahoma, the Special Olympics of Indiana. Auto Strap Chalk Amsoil Beaver Stripes, number 21AZ. And to his right from 4th, Cale Drake at Collinsville, Oklahoma, the Honest Abe Roofing, Pendleton Farms, Claxton DRC Chassis, number 2B. Inside of your next row, Kyle Cummins out of Princeton, Indiana. The Avanti Windows and Doors, Premier Recycling, Apache Transport, number 3P. And to his right, lining up 6 out of Sutter, California, the Honest Abe Roofing, Rockwell Security, Fatheads Eyewear, Indy Custom Sewn, Abacus, number 57. That'll be Logan Seavey. Nate Shank out of Santa Rosa, California, the Lawson Rock and Oil, Hutchinson DRC Chassis, number 1. He will go from the inside of your 4th row. Lining up next to his right rear, going to be the driver to Farmersburg, Indiana. We're talking Kevin Newton in the Honest Abe Roofing Metal Supply Depot, Kistler DRC Chassis, number 14N. Final row from the inside, it will be the Shane Wade Enterprises, Dan's Auto, Cheryl's Pest Control, Midwest Dyno Services, number 66 of Jaden Rogers. He's out of Worthington, Indiana. And your final starter scheduled to be Sabin Bybent out of Cincinnati, Ohio, the Epoxy Systems International, Glen Farms, Indy Race Parts, signs by Trey, number 98. So that'll be your scheduled lineup here for Rada Supply Heat Race number 2.
So Sabin Bybent being kind of a late entry here, showed up on the later side of things. Did get a pill draw, however, didn't make it quite in time for Honest Abe Roofing qualifying. So he doesn't have a time, which means that should he make it to the feature event tonight, he will have to relegate to the tail of the field.
As I believe Drake down trackside with another update.
Well, we talked about it being Troy Carey's birthday earlier tonight. Also want to wish a happy 22nd birthday to Nathan Shank aboard the number 1 machine, who is slated to start on the inside of row number 4 here in this Rod and Supply Heat Race number 2. Of course, Nathan been out here in Indiana the last year or so, actually spent some time with Clausen Marshall Racing when they were still on the Amsoil USAC National Sprint Car Tour with Emerson Axon behind the wheel, and he won a couple of races as a crew member with them. And towards the end of last year, dropped off with CMR and got back to being behind the wheel of an on-wing sprint car. Has been racing on the local and national scene so far in 2024. Of course, the son of Terry Shank Jr., a really successful spec sprint racer out in California. So I wanted to make sure we also wish Nathan Shank a happy birthday, as he's going to start 7th, Brian.
Indeed, thank you very much. Adams, the 32nd driver of the season to score a heat race win. Christy, you're giving away money.
Well, I'm not.
Okay.
However, Brazil Christmas in the Park is. They're here selling 50-50 tickets, so keep your eye out for them if you want a 50-50 ticket. Good news for those of you in the stands tonight. You can purchase some from Brazil Christmas in the Park.
There you go. Toyota Racing Development pace truck down the front straightaway. Field in tow. Matt Westfall and Jack Hoyer on that front row. No, that is not Brent Beauchamp. That is Jack Hoyer. We had somebody confused online earlier. Just wanted to make sure they knew. Dason Pursley inside of your next row. Cale Drake next to him. Kyle Cummins, Logan Seavey, row number 3. Nate Shank, Kevin Newton, Jaden Rogers, and Sabin Bybent set to round out your field. And Sabin, unfortunately, a no-show here in Rada Supply Heat Race number 2.
So forget everything I said.
Scratch that. Rewind the tape. Go. Caution lights are dark. The NOS Energy start can is the starting point for these drivers once again. Westfall brings it off at turn number 4 to the green.
Matt Westfall got a really good drive off the bottom side of the racetrack, kind of floated up in front of Dason Pursley, who's now going to close that gap. Kyle Cummins going to float back to the front nose of Cale Drake and Logan Seavey on his way through.
Boy, Cummins, look at the drive to the back straightaway. Works to the inside of the 11X. He'll take over the 3rd spot. Had to wait on the car a little bit in the middle of turns 1 and 2, but made up for it onto the back straightaway. Getting up on the back bumper, the 21 AZ of Dason Pursley trying to contend for that 2nd spot. The 57 is Seavey with a pass up at a 4th behind him. They're going to move the 11X back to the final transfer spot. Again, that is Jack Hoyer.
Matt Westfall beginning to drive away with it. Dason Pursley, Kyle Cummins also starting to space themselves out quite a bit. Kyle Cummins gets through a corner, bicycles it just a little bit. It looked really smooth, but alas.
Good save by the Avanti Windows and Doors over 3P, as it is Westfall in 33, trying to pick up his 8th heat race win of the season. Race for the second spot ongoing. The 21 AZ of Dason Persley has it. Kyle Cummins trying to get up and see if he can steal it away. Plants the right rear hard to the exit to number 4. They're going to go side by side to the front straightaway. Who's going to drive it in deep into turns 1 and 2? It will be the 3. Cummins takes over the second spot, takes it up across the racetrack a little bit, blocks the charge of the 21 AZ, going to relegate him to the 3rd position. CV, Hoyer, still your top 5. It was Drake, Shank, Rogers, and Newton last time by.
Cale Drake just passing Jack Hoyer on the backstretch for that final transfer position. He now sits in 5th. Kyle Cummins coming off that turn just a little bit sideways. Going to try to reel in Matt Westfall before it's all said and done.
Boy, a drive by the on-state roofing number 57 at the exit to number 4. Closed up quickly on the number 21 AZ. Now another good run onto the backstretch. You saw Persley, the car kind of kicked sideways on him a little bit. Able to fend off the charge for the time being. Keep an eye at that top 2, though. Just talking about reeling in the 33M. He is getting in even closer now. Here comes the 3P.
Really looks like Kyle Cummins is able to drive the car with just a little bit more car control than everybody else we've seen so far. He's able to continue carrying that speed. He doesn't have to let off quite as much as everybody else, and he's able to make up a lot more ground because of it.
Has the car nice and balanced and free enough that he can carry speed into the turn and able to keep it where it's tight enough to get speed off of the turn. As he settlers down into turn 1 and 2, again, round the bottom, comes up onto the back bumper of your race leader as we have only 2 laps remaining. Pass for the transfer spot. Cale Drake gets it away from Jack Hoyer in the Honest Abe Roofing number 2B. White flag coming out this time, though. Matt Westfall. One more time at speed here in Ronda Supply Heat Race number 2.
So they get into turns number 1 and 2. Kyle Cummins going to try to reel him in, but Matt Westfall pulls away down the backstretch. Westfall has a pretty good shot at it going into turns number 3 and 4. Cummins going to give it one last shot.
Boy, Westfall, a tremendous drive that time off of the second turn. Going to get good drive off at turn number 4. Checkered flag going to drop in this one. And he's going to fend off the charge of Kyle Cummins for the heat race win. Cummins going to settle for second. Dason Persley in third. Logan Seavey and Cale Drake. Those 5 drivers moving on into your feature event. Jack Hoyer, Nate Shank, Jaden Rogers, and Kevin Newton. Unofficially rounding out your field, Saban Bybit, unfortunately a no-show in Ronda Supply Heat Race number 2. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he will do so for the 8th time this season at Pleasant Hill, Ohio. The Ray Marshall Motorsports Buckeye Machine Fabricators Crestman DRC number 33M. Give him a hand, Matt Westfall. Kyle Cummins in second, Dason Persley in third, Logan Seavey in fourth, Cale Drake in fifth, Jack Hoyer in sixth, Nate Shank, Jaden Rogers, and Kevin Newton rounding out your field. So 2 in, 2 to go. TJ Ford's heat race number 3. Going to be making its way out to the speedway here in just a moment.
You heard Mitchell Moles say it during his Honest Abe Roofing Fast qualifier interview. He thought it was going to be rather hard to make some passes on this racetrack. Certainly getting a little bit easier the longer we get into it. We saw Kyle Cummins pass quite a few cars there, but Mitchell Moles making really quick work of it on the start, which I think is kind of what a lot of these drivers are trying to do, is accomplish that early so that they don't have to battle with all that later.
So we'll see if that plays out here in TJ Ford's heat race number 3. Carson Gear going to be in the pole at Littleton, Colorado. The Altos Power Equipment, Hornbeck Concrete, one-way DRC chassis number 15. Next to him is going to be Charles Davis Jr. He's at Buckeye, Arizona. The MP Environmental Black Magic Bead Breaker, Stanton Triple X chassis number 47. Second row from the inside, Ricky Lewis out of Oxnard, California, driver the Physical Medicine Consultant, Stensland DRC chassis, J&M Racing number 41. And from fourth, it will be Nick Bilby. He's out of Martinsville, Indiana, driver the Carl LaFerry Trucking and Demolition, AJ Felker Power DRC chassis, Bennett Logging number 17. Briggs Danner out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, the Boulevard Truck Repair, E. Schneider & Sons, Davis Brothers, Concrete Cutting Systems number 39. He's going to go for the 5th starting spot. And Brady Bacon out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the Spankins Motorsports, Telstar Technologies, Davis Brothers, Fatheads, Hobson Family number 69. He will go from 6. Kyle Shipley, driver coming to us out of Phoenix, Arizona, the Cox Body Shop, Trainer Chevrolet Power, Triple X Chassis, DT Oil Services number 4U. He'll go from the inside of the 4th row. And outside of him, switch letters, and we got Logan Calderwood out of Goodyear, Arizona, the MP Environmental 6X Management Group, one-way Triple X Chassis number 4C. Final starter in TJ Ford's heat race number 3, set to be Frankie Guarini. He's out of San Rafael, California, driving the DRC FG3 Performance-powered Z-Max number G3. As that'll be your scheduled lineup here for TJ Ford's heat race number 3 of 4 tonight with the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship.
So they're pulling double duty tonight for Frankie Guarini and Max Adams. The last couple of nights, they've kind of been alternating on and off who was going to race tonight. It's both of them.
And at one point, I thought they were going to keep doing that throughout the entire week. When I went down there and asked who all was going to be in action, they said, we got one and the other one's coming. So limited on crew, and also it's a lot of equipment to take care of. here on the broadcast. Of course, as you have seen a couple times, the drone making its appearance here tonight. We've had the onboard camera. We've had the drone shot. Keeps getting better and better.
It almost looks like a mile from that angle. It's a lovely
overlay Springfield.
Lovely aerial view. We'll be there soon.
Yes. Silver Crown competition about to heat up. One of the rare back-to-back. There are 2-day shows on the schedule. Normally the first night is a practice. We saw that at Salt City up in Hutchinson. And in this case, it's going to be 2 nights of racing, 2 totally different tracks from almost a mile and a half to the mile.
Not to mention dirt and pavement.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Let's go down to Drake.
Well, Brian and Christy, you talked about the limited help that has been on the F&F racing cars of Max Adams and Frankie Guarini, and we told you out at Kokomo they had one other career guy that was not named Max Adams or Frankie Guarini, and I talked to Scott Adams, Max Adams' dad, and asked him if he was the only guy on both those cars. He said, no, we actually have more than one person helping on the race cars tonight, so it's going to be a little bit easier. And also, we talk about the FG3, of course, that's Frankie Guarini's engine company, and that is located in Indianapolis, Indiana, in an area known as Gasoline Alley. A lot of racing shops there, including Indy Race Parts. Justin Grant's operation is housed there, along with DRC and a couple other companies. And the engine shop about a stone's throw away from the race car shop, so everything housed very close together in Indianapolis, Indiana, for those 2 number 63 cars. Of course, Guarini in the G3 and Max Adams in the 63.
Which isn't confusing at all.
No. Thankfully, though, one is a black and red, and one of the other one's more white and red.
Yeah, which does, if you make mental note of who's in what car, they're pretty easy to tell apart.
The BGE Darty Motorsports machines
Very
come
similar.
to mind.
Very similar to that.
Back whenever I started back in the day, it would have been a Casey Minks car, and there would have been 4 of them. They all would have been yellow and black with the same number.
It's almost like Keith Kuhn's cars.
Yes.
They don't look alike at all in reality, but you see so many of them that it's really hard to tell them apart sometimes.
For a while, it was Matt Wood Racing at the Chili Bowl. Each car was blue, same
Yes.
font, everything.
These
But
are our
alas.
grievances.
And we are airing them pre-Festivus. Here we go. Off at turn number 4 to the NOS Energy start can. TJ Ford's heat race number 3 comes to life.
Speaking of Carson Garrett, what a start for Carson Garrett. Makes a good charge, almost up to the lead. Charles Davis Jr. going to get the better end of turn number 2.
Well, he got the charge, but Charge and Charles going to have the better one as they work onto the back straightaway. 47 going to lead the way. Garrett going to run to the second spot right now. Bilby finds himself in third. Bacon running in fourth. Again, 5 drivers going to move on out of your heat races, and that 5th spot currently being contested. Briggs Danner to the inside at 39, going to take it away from Ricky Lewis.
Ricky Lewis going to try to battle back around the outside. Not really going to get it done this time. Briggs Danner gets a pretty good drive off to turn number 2. So Ricky Lewis going to have to recalibrate and try again.
A little bit different track than what Charles Davis Jr. is used to at the deserts, where it is so slick and so dusty. This one, she is hammered down and moving. He's got that Stanton Racing engine humming right now as he'll bring him around onto the back straightaway. Carson Garrett continuing to run that second spot. Brady Bacon in third. Nick Bilby, Briggs Danner, your top 5. Ricky Lewis, Kyle Shipley, Logan Calderwood, and Frankie Guarini continue to round out your running order.
Charles Davis Jr. going to bring it down the front stretch. Carson Garrett, Brady Bacon still running second and third. Then it's Nick Bilby and Briggs Danner in transfer positions right now. Carson Garrett, a slip of the grip.
Boy, 900 horsepower pogo stick over in turns 1 and 2. Got her airborne. Opens the door for Brady Bacon. And incidentally, about the time he did that, that was right about the spot that Brady Bacon tried to become an astronaut a couple years ago. Here at this racetrack, he slides up into that second spot as that inboard rotor absolutely aglow on that Spankins number 69 as he tries to keep the car loaded up underneath him. He's got a good drive to the back straightaway. Might have a challenge for the lead as we'll have 3 laps remaining this time when they come around off of turn number 4.
You saw on your FloRacing broadcast, Briggs Danner caught one side of the bicycle there in turns number 1 and 2. He's trying to pick up the 4th position and get himself some insurance for that transfer spot.
Top 3 drivers, just a bit of a breakaway here. Davis continuing to lead, has to wait to the car, got her sideways. Here comes Brady Bacon. Bacon trying to put the whip to her here as they work down to the bottom side over in turns 3 and 4. Davis up high, gets her over the cushion, and Bacon's going to roll by in 69. What?
Incredible move for Brady Bacon to be able to avoid that and make the most of it. Now he's your leader in TJ Ford's heat race number 3.
What a save by Charles Davis. That had all the makings to go all the wrong ways, but somehow keeps it all 4 tires down. But Brady Bacon going to capitalize and take over the top spot as they come around to the wave with the white flag and 1 to go. Davis in second, but he has some unwanted company here. Carson Garrett going to try to close up and see if he can grab one more here. And Bacon, well, tonight's title sponsor, he's living up to it right now, putting a spanking on him right now as they work into turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag going to drop. for the Macho Man here in TJ Ford's heat race number 3. Bacon sizzling in this one. Side by side for second at the line. Carson Garrett going to grab it away from Charles Davis Jr. by .058. Nick Bilby and Briggs Danner, those 5 drivers going to move on. Ricky Lewis, Kyle Shipley, Logan Calderwood, and Frankie Guarini unofficially going to round out your field. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he hails out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the Spankins Motorsports, Telstar Technologies, Davis Brothers, Fatheads, Hobbs, and family number 69. Give him a hand, Brady Bacon. Carson Garrett edges out the second position there at the line from Charles Davis Jr. Nick Bilby, Briggs Danner moving on. Ricky Lewis, Kyle Shipley, Logan Calderwood, Frankie Guarini. They're going to find themselves in your Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts semi-feature event. So Bacon, win number 7 on the season in heat race competition.
And I think that'll sort of be the story of what's going to win the feature event tonight. Who can capitalize on mistakes out of other drivers and be able to be in the right place at the right time, avoid the nasty things that they don't want to be involved in, and then pick up enough speed to be able to carry on once they get that spot.
Of course, track crew is going to do everything they can to try to help the track widen out, but with this much moisture, sun's going down, it's going to cool off. You're going to see some of that play in, and it's going to have kind of a cornfield effect there as we continue on through the night, but of course going to try to mitigate that as much as possible. As we go into Car IQ heat race number 4, Brandon Maddox, he's from right here in town of the Maddox Heating and Cooling, Gressman DRC Chassis, Pro Source number 28. He's going to lead him down to the drop of the green flag. Next to him is going to be the driver to Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, the JPA Masonry, Avantia Real Estate Stinger Race Fuels number 88. Next row from the inside, it's going to be Xavier Doney out of Odessa, Missouri, the Motor Haven RV and Boat Storage, Design Source Flooring, Able Group, TNT Performance Equine number 74. And your 4th starter comes to you out of Greenfield, Indiana, driver the One-Way Power, DRC Altos Power Equipment, Valvoline, Hornbeck Concrete number 50. Next, that'll be C.J. Leary. Justin Grant out of Ione, California, the NOS Energy Boat Foundation, MPV Express, Top Industries number 4. It will go from the inside of your 3rd row. Next to him is going to be Kevin Thomas Jr. to Coleman, Alabama. The Inferno Armor Lynch Machining, Lucas Oil Center, Eddie Gilstrap Motors number 3. Next row from the inside, that is Trey Osborne out of Columbus, Ohio, driving the Hidden Hoof Hollow Farms, Industrial Hydraulics Incorporated, Kirchner XXX number 11T. And from the 8th starting spot to 21, that's going to be Kobe Simpson out of Bonham, Texas, the B-Town Automotive, Canada DRC Chassis number 21K. And your final starter is the Aussie, Troy Carey out of Teelamore, New South Wales, driving the TCM Claxon XXX number 45N. As that'll be your lineup here for Car IQ Heat Race number 4.
You've got a handful of cars in this Car IQ Heat Race number 4 who have had just some really tough luck during Indiana Sprint Week so far, during the USAC Amsoil National Sprint Car Championship season in 2024 so far. Joey Amantia, we've seen him take a couple of rides, some that, were completely unavoidable. C.J. Leary, who's just had mechanical troubles after mechanical troubles and also getting involved in some incidents as well. Justin Grant, more mechanical troubles, and Kevin Thomas Jr., who's had a couple of big ones as well.
Somebody's going to need to call a mechanic. So we'll see if they can get their season turned around here. Not that they've had a horrible season, they just had a little bit of a rough stretch.
That's right, yeah, and it happens, and this is the kind of sport, and you hear them say it all the time, but it really is true. It ebbs and it flows, and as you always say, it giveth and it taketh.
We've talked about it a couple times, for the most competitive people on the planet, your chances of actually winning
4.16.
Yeah.
Kevin Thomas Jr. knew that one. I'll tell you why.
Because you told him.
Well, he's one of the most competitive people on the planet.
Yeah. I think Whitney might have a beat.
She is up there. I think KT gets a lot of credit for being very funny, and he is, but a lot of people don't realize Whitney's got a lot of jokes,
too. Oh, she's
too.
got some zingers. Man loves his Kid Rock, I'll tell you that. So final heat race of the night if you're just joining us here on the FloRacing broadcast. Remember, FloRacing is the official online broadcast provider of the United States Auto Club. You can find all 3 national divisions exclusively on FloRacing. The big question on social media, is it on Flo? The answer?
Yes.
Since 2019. You can find it all here on FloRacing. And Drake, what you got?
Well, Brian and Christy, you were talking about the mechanical woes C.J. Leary had on the 15X last night out at the Circle City Raceway. It was a throttle linkage, and Brian, that's about a $10 part, really cost C.J. Leary. Of course, he's trying to stay in the paying positions for the NOS Energy Drink Indiana Sprint Week presented by Honest Abe Roofing point standings. So $10 part could potentially cost you a lot this week, and obviously it's been a bit of a bad run lately for CJ, like Christy mentioned, when it comes to mechanical issues.
It is always the $10 part.
Now, they don't run without throttles, I'll tell you that much.
They can Flintstone it, but you're not going to get very far. You can give it the old yabba dabba do all you want. So Brandon Maddox, Joey Abanti on that front row, Xavier Doney, CJ Lear, row number 2, Justin Grant, Kevin Thomas Jr., row number 3, Trey Osborne, Kobe Simpson, and Troy Carey. Rounds out your lineup, side by side, nose to tail, till they find the NOS Energy start can off of turn number 4. The local shoe going to bring him down to green.
Pretty good even start there. Joey Amantia going to get the jump, though. He's into the corner much sooner than Brandon Maddox, who's currently running second. CJ Leary gets on the bicycle just a little bit there in turns number 1 and 2.
On the bike, but still able to make the pass. He holds on to the 3rd position as he will set sights on the 28 now, but here comes the Inferno Armor number 3. Kevin Thomas Jr. charge it up onto the left side of the 15. Oh, my, a little bit of a bobble that time through turns 3 and 4. Position gain, position loss. The 74, Xavier Doney, going to make his way by. Going to move KTJ back to 5th. Justin Grant now next up to try and take that spot away. Drive to the inside. Couldn't quite get there, though.
And that's just it. Those small missteps, those things that you just can't see coming if you tried, those are going to be what wins and loses races tonight.
Amantia leading. Maddox running in 2nd. Leary running in the 3rd spot. Doney running in 4th, Kevin Thomas Jr. in 5th, Justin Grant still right there in 6th, Trey Osborne, Kobe Simpson, Troy Carey currently running out your running order. Keep an eye on Leary, peeking to the inside of the 28, that time to the back straightaway. No dice, though, as they turn to turns 3 and 4.
Is Brandon Maddox able to get it back down on the bottom side of the racetrack and hold on to that line? That's where most of the passing is getting done right now. If you can force somebody out of that line, which Logan Seavey was able to do to Kevin Thomas Jr. last night in the feature event.
Speaking of Kevin Thomas, he just found some serious bite midpoint at turns 1 and 2 and closed right up on the 74 of Xavier Doney. Gets a run onto the back straightaway. Side by side at turns 3 and 4. Doney going to drive back by. Oh! Doney bikes her up a hard landing over in turns 3 and 4 and going to keep it going. Wow. So the TNT Equine number 74 trying his rodeo moves out over in turns 3 and 4. Somehow keeps the car going in the right direction. But Amantia, he is out in front of the chaos right now. 1.762 seconds to the good last time as he'll come around to 3 to go. Battle for second continues in this one. The 20 to Brandon Maddox. CJ Leary, he's been right there pressuring, just hasn't been able to apply enough to make his way by.
And it looks like so far, especially in this Car IQ Heat Race number 4 for several of the drivers, it's been a very fine line between being aggressive enough to make a pass and being too aggressive to where you get yourself in a bad situation.
Aggressively patient and patiently aggressive. See it a lot, especially in non-wing racing. Once again, Leary going to charge the inside. Maddox in the 28 with a better line and a better approach to turn number 1. Off of turn number 2. Does he keep it, though? Their side-by-side advantage will be to Leary this time.
So Brandon Maddox right there really showcasing that local flavor that he's got here at the Terre Haute Action Track. CJ Leary gets a little hung out coming out of turn number 4. Maybe that was just the camera angle. Hard to tell.
White flag in the air. And Leary did not have a great angle going into 1, but the car coming around to him at the exit turn number 2, found the bite on the exit, was able to charge up to that second spot. But checkered flag is going to fly, and this ought to feel great for Joey Amanti after getting upside down last night. Picks up the heat race win, a great way to start his night here at the Terre Haute Action Track. CJ Leary going to cross in second, Brandon Maddox in third, Kevin Thomas Jr., Justin Grant unofficially going to be your top 5 in this one. Trey Osborne, Xavier Doney, Kobe Simpson, and Troy Carey unofficially running out your field. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he comes all the way from Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. Driver the JPA Masonry Newman's Triple X, Amantia Real Estate Stinger Race Fields number 88J. Give him a hand, Joey Amantia, picking up heat race number 4, brought to you by Car IQ. CJ Leary crossing in second, Brandon Maddox in third, Kevin Thomas Jr. in fourth, Justin Grant in fifth, Trey Osborne, Xavier Doney, Kobe Simpson, and Troy Carey unofficially rounding out your fields. That will wrap up heat race action here tonight with USAC AMSOIL Sprint Car National Championship. Stage is nearly set. We'll find out where they're going to line up in your feature event and find out who is going to make their way in to your Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts semi-feature event. Steve Griffin. Steve Griffin, you are tonight's AMSOIL Inside the Oval winner. You can make your way down to the USAC merchandise trailer. They will get you all squared away against Steve.